Welcome back to our channel Valuable Coins HD coin collectors and enthusiasts. If you're into the world of numismatics or just happen to have a passion for finding hidden treasures, then today's video is for you. We're going to be taking a close look at a coin that may look ordinary at first glance, but in reality, it could be worth thousands of dollars. I'm talking about the 1965 Washington $quarter coin. You might be surprised by just how much value this coin could have, especially if you know what to look for. Now, at first glance, the 1965 Washington quarter might seem like just another silver coin from the 1960s. It features the iconic portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States, on the obverse. This coin has a familiar design, but don't let its standard look fool you. There's more to this quarter than meets the eye, and it's not just its age that can make it valuable. So, let's dive into its key features, errors to look for, why it could be worth so much, and how you can spot a rare one in your collection. First, let's start with the key features. The 1965 Washington quarter has a distinctive design. On the obverse, you'll see George Washington's profile, created by the famous sculptor John Flanagan. To the left of Washington's bust, you'll find the inscription Liberty, and just below it, the year 1965 is clearly stamped. The reverse side of the coin features a bald eagle holding arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other, with the words United States of America, e pluribus unum, and $quarter circling the eagle. But the real intrigue comes when you start looking closer, especially for errors that occurred during the minting process. And believe me, there are a few rare and exciting errors that could make your 1965 quarter worth a lot more than just 25 cents. One of the most notable errors in the 1965 quarter is the double die obverse. If you've ever heard of double die errors, you'll know that they're one of the most sought-after mistakes in coin collecting. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly, causing the image to be stamped more than once. This results in a doubled appearance in the inscriptions on the coin. You may notice that words like Liberty or the year 1965 appear with a noticeable double impression, which makes the coin much more valuable. These errors can be quite subtle, so you'll need to examine the coin closely with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to spot them. Another rare error to watch for in the 1965 quarter is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned in the press during minting. As a result, the design may be struck off-center, leaving a portion of the coin blank or with a distorted design. If you find a 1965 Washington quarter with this type of error, you may have found a real gem. Off-center strikes can be particularly attractive to collectors because they're unique and much rarer than your average quarter. Now, why are these errors so important? The answer lies in the concept of rarity. Most 1965 quarters were minted without any errors, which means that those with mistakes are much harder to find. The more rare a coin is, the more valuable it becomes in the eyes of collectors. So, a 1965 quarter with a double die or an off-center strike will stand out from the crowd of ordinary quarters and will command a much higher price. These rare varieties are highly sought after, and collectors will pay a premium to add them to their collections. But it's not just the errors that can increase the value of your 1965 Washington quarter. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in its worth. Coins that have been well preserved, without too much wear and tear, can be worth significantly more than those that have been through years of circulation. In fact, even a small scratch or a bit of tarnish can decrease a coin's value dramatically. So, if you come across a 1965 quarter in pristine condition, it could be worth much more than you'd expect, even if it doesn't have an error. If you suspect you have a valuable 1965 Washington quarter, the next step is to have it professionally graded. Professional grading services, like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, can evaluate the coin's condition and authenticate any errors it may have. Having your coin graded will give you a better idea of its value and can help ensure that you're getting the best price if you decide to sell it. Coins that are professionally graded also have a higher level of trust in the market, making them more appealing to serious collectors. Now, let's talk about how much a 1965 Washington quarter could be worth. If your coin has an error like the double die obverse or the off-center strike, and it's in good condition, you could be looking at a value anywhere from $4,000 to $60,000. That's right, a single 1965 Washington quarter with the right error could fetch tens of thousands of dollars. The price depends on the rarity of the error, the condition of the coin, and how much collectors are willing to pay for it. So, how can you spot one of these valuable coins in your collection? First, grab a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to get a close-up look at the details of the coin. Examine the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" on the obverse. If you notice any doubling in these inscriptions, you may have found a double die obverse. Similarly, check the date, 1965, for any signs of misalignment. If the numbers appear doubled, this could be a telltale sign of a double die. Next, flip the coin over and inspect the reverse side. Hold the coin at different angles under the light to look for any signs of the design being struck off-center. Once you think you've found an error coin, it's time to have it graded by a professional. A trusted grading service can verify the error and help you determine its true value. With the right error and condition, your 1965 Washington quarter could be worth far more than just 25 cents. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a rare coin like the 1965 Washington quarter or any other coin with an error? What kind of coins do you enjoy collecting the most? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories and thoughts on coin collecting. In conclusion, the 1965 Washington quarter may look like just another piece of pocket change, but if it has an error like the double die obverse or off-center strike, it could be worth a significant amount of money. With the right error and in good condition, this coin could fetch anywhere from $4,000 to $60,000. So, keep an eye out next time you're going through your change or sifting through your collection. You might be holding onto a hidden gem. Today's video is for you. We're diving into a specific coin that might just be worth a fortune. I'm talking about the 1990 Washington $quarter coin. You might think, a quarter from 1990? That's no big deal. But believe me, this coin has more to offer than you might expect. The 1990 Washington quarter is often overlooked by casual collectors, but with the right error or unique features, it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the key features of the 1990 quarter, explore the errors that can make it valuable, discuss why it's worth so much, and show you how to spot one in your collection. So, let's begin with the basics. The 1990 Washington quarter features a portrait of George Washington on the obverse side, designed by John Flanagan. Washington is facing left, and you'll find the inscription "Liberty" to the left of his bust. Above his head, you'll notice the motto, "In God We Trust," and to the right of his portrait, you'll see the year, 1990. On the reverse side, you'll find a bold image of a bald eagle holding an olive branch and arrows. Surrounding the eagle are the words, "United States of America, e pluribus unum," and "$quarter." This reverse design has remained largely unchanged for decades, but for those of you looking for the rare and special, it's the errors and certain conditions that will make this coin truly valuable. Now, let's talk about the errors that can set your 1990 Washington quarter apart from the rest. One of the most significant errors to look for in this coin is the double die obverse. If you're familiar with error coins, you know that a double die is one of the most sought-after mistakes in coin collecting. It occurs when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly, causing the design to be stamped twice. As a result, you'll notice doubling in key parts of the design, such as the word "Liberty" or the year, 1990. This doubling can be subtle, but with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, you'll be able to spot it. Double die errors are valuable because they're rare, and they create a unique appearance that collectors love. Another error to look for in the 1990 quarter is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned when it's struck, causing the design to be imprinted off-center. An off-center strike can be a dramatic error, with parts of the design missing or shifted, or it can be a more subtle error with only slight misalignment. Either way, off-center strikes are considered rare and are highly desirable among collectors. If you happen to find a 1990 Washington quarter with this type of error, you could be looking at a highly valuable coin. So why is the 1990 Washington quarter so valuable, especially if it has an error? Well, it comes down to rarity and demand. Most 1990 quarters were struck without any issues, meaning that coins with errors are much harder to find. The rarity of these errors makes them extremely valuable to collectors, who are always on the lookout for unique coins to add to their collections. Additionally, the condition of the coin plays a big role in its value. A well-preserved, near-flawless coin will always command a higher price than a worn or damaged one. So, even if you don't find an error coin, if your 1990 quarter is in excellent condition, it could still be worth significantly more than its face value, but it's not just about finding errors or looking for perfect coins. The mintage of the 1990 Washington quarter also plays a role in its value. While this coin was produced in large quantities, there are still fewer high-grade, error-free examples in circulation today. This makes the few that do exist highly sought after by collectors who are building sets of high-quality coins. Now that you know what errors to look for, let's talk about how to spot one of these valuable 1990 Washington quarters. First and foremost, examine the obverse closely, especially the inscriptions like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Use a magnifying glass to see if there's any doubling of the text. You're looking for signs that the letters appear to be stamped twice. If you find a coin with this double impression, you may have found a double die obverse error. Next, check the date, 1990. If the numbers look out of alignment or doubled, that could be another sign that you found a double die error. Once you've checked the obverse, flip the coin over to the reverse side and examine the eagle and the surrounding text. Look for any signs of misalignment that could suggest an off-center strike. In an off-center strike, part of the design will be missing, or you may see parts of the reverse design shifted to the edge of the coin. Hold the coin up to the light and tilt it at different angles to see if you can spot any irregularities in the design. If you think you found a valuable 1990 Washington quarter with an error, the next step is to have it graded by a professional coin grading service, like PCGS or NGC. Getting your coin professionally graded will help establish its authenticity and provide you with an accurate idea of its value. A graded coin can fetch a significantly higher price than an ungraded one, as collectors trust the grading system to determine the condition and authenticity of a coin. Now, the million-dollar question: how much can a 1990 Washington quarter be worth? Depending on the rarity of the error and the condition of the coin, a 1990 Washington quarter with an error can be worth anywhere from $38,000 to $47,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth just 25 cents could be worth thousands of dollars if it has the right features and is in excellent condition. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever found a rare coin like the 1990 Washington quarter, or maybe another error coin that surprised you in value? Drop a comment below and let me know what you've discovered. I'd love to hear your coin hunting stories. In conclusion, the 1990 Washington quarter might seem like just another coin, but with the right error, in great condition, and with a bit of luck, it can be worth far more than face value. Whether it's a double die obverse, an off-center strike, or simply a well-preserved example, this coin could be worth anywhere from $38,000 to $47,000. So, keep an eye out when you're searching through your coins. You never know what hidden treasure you might find. Today, we're diving into a coin that many may overlook, but it has the potential to be worth tens of thousands of dollars. I'm talking about the 1971 Washington quarter-dollar coin. At first glance, it may seem like any ordinary quarter, but trust me, there's more than meets the eye here. The 1971 Washington quarter is one of the more interesting coins to come out of the early 1970s, and if you know what to look for, it could be worth a pretty penny. In this video, we're going to break down the key features of this coin, highlight some errors to watch out for, explain why it's valuable, and give you tips on how to spot one. Stick around until the end, because you may just have a treasure in your pocket or collection that could be worth $4,000 to $56,000. That's right, you don't want to miss this, so let's start with the basics. The 1971 Washington quarter features the classic design that we all know and love. On the obverse side, you'll see the profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Washington's portrait is centered, with the word Liberty inscribed to the left and the year 1971 under his neck. Above the portrait, you'll see the motto, "In God We Trust." On the reverse side, you'll find a bald eagle perched on a branch with arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other. The inscriptions surrounding the eagle include United States of America, E pluribus unum, and $quarter. This design, which has been used for many years, might seem familiar, but the 1971 quarter has some important distinctions that could make it a valuable addition to any collection. Now let's talk about the errors that can make this coin worth far more than its face value. When it comes to error coins, it's all about the imperfections that occurred during the minting process. And the 1971 Washington quarter has a few errors that serious collectors are on the lookout for. One of the most notable errors to look for in the 1971 Washington quarter is the double die obverse. This is one of the most popular and valuable types of error in coin collecting. A double die occurs when the coin's die is misaligned, causing the design to be stamped more than once, giving the letters and numbers a doubled appearance. If you carefully examine the word Liberty, the year 1971, or the motto, "In God We Trust," you might notice a slight doubling. It can be very subtle, but if you catch it, you found a rare and valuable error coin. Another error to be on the lookout for is the clipped planchet. This happens when the blank piece of metal, or planchet, that struck to make the coin is accidentally cut too early in the process, leaving part of the coin missing. When this happens, part of the design is often cut off, creating an irregular shape. Clipped planchets are very rare and can dramatically increase the value of the coin, making it a prized item among collectors. Now, why are these errors so important? Well, it comes down to rarity. Errors are relatively rare, and they give the coin a unique characteristic that sets it apart from all the other coins produced in the same year. For example, a regular 1971 quarter with no errors is worth only 25 cents. However, a 1971 quarter with a double die or clipped planchet can be worth thousands of dollars, depending on the condition and rarity of the error. The rarer the error, the higher the value. The condition of the coin is another huge factor in determining its worth. Coins that have been well preserved, without a lot of wear and tear, are generally worth much more than those that have been in circulation for years. If you find a 1971 Washington quarter that's in near perfect condition, you might have something that's worth a lot more than a regular coin in average condition. But it's not just about the errors and condition. The mintage of the 1971 quarter also plays a role in its potential value. While millions of these coins were minted, there are far fewer in pristine condition or with errors that make them stand out. This means that a coin with a significant error or one in exceptional condition could command a premium price. So, how do you go about spotting a valuable 1971 Washington quarter? It's all about paying close attention to the details. First, grab a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to really examine the coin. Look carefully at the word Liberty and the year 1971 for signs of doubling. If you see even a small hint of a second impression, then you might have found a double die obverse. Next, check the edge of the coin. If you spot an irregularity in the shape or notice that part of the design is missing, you might have found a clipped planchet. Clipped planchets are harder to detect with the naked eye, so be sure to inspect the edges carefully. Finally, take a moment to consider the overall condition of the coin. Look for any scratches, dents, or discoloration that could affect its value. The closer to mint condition the coin is, the more valuable it could be. If the coin looks almost brand new, then you could have a real prize on your hands. Now, let's talk about the big question: how much can a 1971 Washington quarter be worth? If you happen to find one with a rare double die obverse or a clipped planchet, and it's in great condition, you could be looking at a coin worth anywhere from $4,000 to $56,000. That's a huge jump from just 25 cents. Keep in mind that the price will depend on the rarity of the error, the condition of the coin, and the current demand from collectors. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you ever come across a rare error coin or found a 1971 Washington quarter that's worth more than face value? What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Let me know in the comments below. To sum it all up, the 1971 Washington quarter may look like a simple coin at first, but if it has the right error, in the right condition, it could be worth thousands of dollars. Whether it's a double die obverse or a clipped planchet, this coin can be worth anywhere from $4,000 to $56,000 if you find the right one. So, keep an eye on your change, check your collections, and you might just stumble upon a rare treasure. Today, we're diving into a coin that might look simple at first glance, but it could be worth far more than you think. We're talking about the 1989 Washington quarter. Now, the 1989 quarter may not immediately scream valuable, but there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Today, we're going to cover all the important details about this coin. We'll talk about its key features, how to spot valuable errors, and why the 1989 Washington quarter can be worth anywhere from $3,500 to $53,000. Yes, you heard that right, up to $53,000. So stay tuned until the end to find out exactly how you can spot a rare, valuable version of this coin. Let's start by breaking down the key features of the 1989 Washington quarter. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll find a portrait of George Washington, the first President of the United States. This portrait was designed by John Flanagan and has been used on quarters for many decades. The inscription around the portrait reads, "Liberty," with the year 1989 right beneath Washington's neck. The famous motto, "In God We Trust," is inscribed above his head. This side of the coin is what most people recognize when they think of a quarter. On the reverse side, we see an eagle perched on an olive branch and arrows, surrounded by the words, "United States of America, e pluribus unum," and "quarter dollar." The design hasn't changed for decades, making it easy for people to recognize quarters no matter what year they were minted. But here's the thing, while these features are standard for most Washington quarters, there are a few errors and variations that can make the 1989 quarter far more valuable than its face value of 25 cents. One of the most sought-after errors to look for on the 1989 Washington quarter is the double die obverse. This is a common type of error that occurs during the minting process when the coin's die is misaligned, causing the design to be stamped more than once. This results in a doubled appearance on certain parts of the coin. If you take a close look at the word "Liberty" or the year 1989, you might notice that the letters or numbers seem to be doubled. This subtle doubling can be hard to see with the naked eye, but it's worth looking for with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Another error to watch out for on the 1989 quarter is the clipped planchet. This happens when the metal planchet, the blank piece of metal that gets struck to form the coin, is cut too early, leaving part of the coin's design off-center or missing. These coins have an irregular shape, and sometimes, part of the edge or design is cut off. These types of errors are highly sought after because of their uniqueness and rarity, and finding one could significantly boost the value of the coin. The condition of the coin is another key factor in determining its value. Coins that have been well preserved and show little wear and tear are more valuable than those that have been in circulation for decades. If you find a 1989 Washington quarter that is nearly mint condition, showing no signs of scratches, discoloration, or significant wear, then you could be sitting on a very valuable coin. The higher the grade, the more it will be worth to collectors. Now, why is the 1989 Washington quarter valuable, despite being a relatively modern coin? It all boils down to rarity and collector demand. Although millions of these quarters were minted in 1989, many of them are still in circulation and are in poor condition. However, a well-preserved coin with an error, such as a double die or clipped planchet, can be extremely rare. These coins stand out from the regular issues and appeal to collectors who are always on the lookout for unique specimens to add to their collections. What makes these errors even more significant is that they're not just cool to look at, they also tell a story. A double die error represents a slip-up during the production process, while a clipped planchet can remind us of the sometimes unpredictable nature of minting coins. These errors show how small mistakes during minting can lead to incredibly valuable pieces of history. But how do you go about spotting one of these rare, valuable coins? The key is to examine the coin up close. Start by using a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect the details. Look for any doubling in the inscriptions, especially on the word Liberty or the year 1989. If you see any signs of the letters or numbers appearing twice, you might have found a double die obverse error. Next, check the edges of the coin. Are they clean, or do you notice any irregularities, such as missing parts of the design or an off-center strike? If so, you could be dealing with a clipped planchet, which is one of the rarer errors to come across. These can be a little trickier to identify, so take your time when examining the coin's shape and edges. When it comes to condition, the cleaner and more pristine the coin is, the more valuable it will be. Look for scratch marks, dents, or any signs of wear. The more mint-like the coin appears, the higher the value. Coins that are graded as MS65 or higher, for example, are considered to be in excellent condition and can command premium prices. Now, let's talk about the exciting part. How much is a 1989 Washington quarter worth? If you happen to find one with a double die obverse or a clipped planchet, and it's in fantastic condition, it could be worth anywhere from $3,500 to $53,000. That's a huge jump from just 25 cents, but it's all about rarity and condition. These error coins are highly desirable, and collectors are often willing to pay top dollar for a coin that stands out from the rest. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever come across a 1989 Washington quarter with an error, or maybe you found another rare coin in your collection? Drop a comment below and let me know what you found. And don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more coin tips and information. In conclusion, while the 1989 Washington quarter might seem like an ordinary coin at first, it has the potential to be a highly valuable collector's item if you know what to look for. Whether it's a double die obverse, a clipped planchet, or just an incredibly well-preserved coin, it could be worth anywhere from $3,500 to $53,000. Today, we're going to explore something pretty exciting, the 1973 Washington quarter-dollar coin. This coin might seem simple at first glance, but if you know what to look for, it could be worth a lot more than just its face value. I'm talking about anywhere from $3,500 to $58,000, depending on certain features and errors that make it unique. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot a valuable 1973 Washington quarter. Let's start by breaking down the key features of this coin. The obverse side of the 1973 Washington quarter shows the famous portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. You'll see Washington facing left with "Liberty" inscribed above his head, and "In God We Trust" to his right. Below the bust, you'll find the year 1973. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll see a majestic eagle perched on an olive branch and a bundle of arrows, flanked by the words "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum." You'll also see the denomination, quarter dollar. At first glance, this coin may look just like any other Washington quarter. But as a collector, you know that the value of a coin goes beyond its basic design. So let's talk about the errors and unique characteristics you need to watch out for when hunting for rare 1973 quarters. The most common error to look for is the double die obverse. This occurs during the minting process when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, resulting in the design being stamped twice in the same spot. This can create a doubled appearance on certain features of the coin, especially around the lettering or the year. If you're examining the "Liberty" or 1973 on your quarter, make sure to look closely. Do you notice any doubling, or are the numbers or letters appearing more than once? If so, you've got an error coin on your hands. Another error you should keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. An off-center strike happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the press during minting, which results in the design being shifted. The result is a coin with part of the design missing or pushed to one side. This type of error can make the coin look very unusual, which is exactly what collectors are looking for. Off-center strikes are unique and can increase the value of your coin dramatically. Speaking of misalignment, there's another error called the clipped planchet. This is a little rarer, but still worth noting. A clipped planchet occurs when the blank metal disc that is stamped to create the coin is cut improperly, causing part of the coin's design to be missing or incomplete. In some cases, you may notice an irregular edge or a piece of the design missing altogether. These kinds of errors are extremely rare and highly valuable to collectors because they show that something went wrong during the production process. They're a great way to boost your quarter's value, so keep an eye out for these characteristics, but the value of a 1973 Washington quarter isn't just based on errors. The condition of the coin also plays a significant role in determining its worth. Like any collectible item, the better the condition, the higher the price. A coin that has been well preserved and shows little to no wear is more valuable than one that's been circulating for years. The most valuable quarters are those that are in mint condition, meaning they don't have any scratches, dents, or discoloration. If you can find a 1973 quarter that looks like it just came off the press, then you're in luck. The higher the grade, the higher the value. Now, you might be wondering, why is the 1973 Washington quarter so valuable in the first place? After all, millions of these coins were minted, so why are some worth so much more than others? The answer is simple: rarity and demand. Although many 1973 Washington quarters were produced, error coins and those in exceptional condition are rare. Because of this, collectors are willing to pay a premium to add these unique pieces to their collections. The world of coin collecting is all about finding something that's not like the others, and the 1973 Washington quarter is one of those coins that has the potential to really stand out. Now, let's talk about how to spot one of these valuable coins. The first step is to take a close look at your 1973 Washington quarter with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Focus on the details, especially the lettering and the year. Look for any signs of doubling, which would indicate a double die obverse error. Next, check the edge and overall shape of the coin. Are there any signs of the coin being off-center or having a clipped planchet? Even the tiniest irregularity can make the coin valuable, so don't overlook the small details. The next thing to pay attention to is the coin's condition. As mentioned earlier, the cleaner and more pristine the coin is, the more valuable it will be. Check for any visible damage or wear. If the coin is still shiny, with sharp details and no scratches, then you may have found yourself a valuable specimen. So, how much is your 1973 Washington quarter worth? Well, if it's in excellent condition and features one of those sought-after errors like the double die obverse, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, it could be worth anywhere from $3,500 to $58,000. That's a huge increase from just a quarter's face value, but it's all about finding the right coin with the right characteristics. Before we finish up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever come across a 1973 Washington quarter with an error, or perhaps you found a coin with a different kind of rare feature? Drop your stories and thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to know what you found in your own coin hunts. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more exciting coin content. To wrap things up, the 1973 Washington quarter may seem like just another coin, but it has the potential to be a true treasure if you know what to look for. Whether it's the double die obverse, off-center strike, or clipped planchet, you could be sitting on a coin worth thousands of dollars. Keep your eyes peeled for those errors, and remember, a well-preserved coin in top condition is always a winner in the world of coin collecting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy coin hunting!